In January 2025, the Eaton Fire tore through the heart of Altadena, leaving behind ashes, heartbreak, and unanswered questions. But in the midst of this devastation, a new chapter has begun, one driven by community, by resistance, and by those refusing to be erased. Welcome to Altadena After the Fire, an Urban One podcast chronicling not only the destruction left in the fire's wake, but the people rising in its aftermath. Today's episode is not just a story of loss. It's a story of leadership, of legacy, and what it takes to rebuild when everything you know has been burned to the ground. Both our guest host, Tawala Sharp, and our guest have directly been affected by these fires. Our guest, Zaire Calvin, is a beloved high school football coach, youth mentor, and a father. He lost his home in the fire. He also lost his sister, and yet he shows up every day for his city. Zaire's voice is one of urgency and truth. He's not here to sugarcoat it. He's here to speak for those still waiting in food lines, still couch surfing, still trying to navigate red tape. And more than that, he's here with a plan. This is the story of one man's fight to bring Altadena back, not just as it was, but better. So let's step into the conversation.
Welcome to another edition of Altadena After the Fire. My name is Tawala Sharp, special correspondent for this Urban One podcast chronicling the aftermath of the Eaton Fire, but more importantly, the process of rebuilding. Today, I welcome Zaire Calvin. You know the name because Zaire Calvin is one of the first individuals who you saw reported on out of the city of Altadena who faced quite possibly the most horrendous loss in losing not only his home, his family's home, but he also lost his sister to the Altadena wildfires. And to have Mr. Calvin here today is more than an honor because we are not here to recount his losses. We are here to talk about the process of rebuilding, something where he has been instrumental in the city. Zaire Calvin, high school coach who took Muir High School, Pasadena's most prestigious high school, to heights never seen before. He has also started his own after-school program with Extreme Athletics, where he is bringing health and wellness to the city in ways never before seen. And it is this activation within the city that is my reason for introducing him to this podcast After the Fire, because he is the fire reborn. He is the phoenix rising from the ashes. Brother Zaire, how you doing today?
Hey, taking it day by day. That introduction helped a lot.
Hey, man, look, it is 100% real because I follow you. I look at what you are doing in the city. I look at your input. I look at your impact. I look at what you are doing to make sure that Altadena rises from the ashes. And I know it comes from a very special place. Both of our parents are revolutionaries and are known within the city of Pasadena, known within the city of Altadena for all of their work within the community as community leaders. And I see how it has influenced both you and I to continue their legacy and continue this process, and rebuilding is just, it's in our blood. From the fire to now, from the impact to the process of regrowth. Off the top, are you confident that we are moving in the right direction?
No, I'm not confident in it. And the reason I say that is because of all of the problems that are arising when it comes to financial security with, losing so much for these families. And speaking for the whole community at this point in life, I've been running around making sure I talk to at least 75% of my community. And it's hard and it's rough out there for the community right now. Trying to get things done with insurance companies and trying to get proper housing. I haven't even gotten proper housing. So let me speak even from self first. I haven't even maintained proper housing yet. So when I'm looking at the community and what I'm going through and what they're going through, it fully aligns. So we're all in the same lines, trying to get the same things done at the same time. And it's the community trying to help itself. And they're leaning on each other to do it and trying to get outside help while leaning on each other, because that's been the support group, is each other. The things that have come up from the outside to give help, it's few and far in between. It seems like a lot. It seems like a lot of help when you hear about it on the news. Oh, it's all of these millions of dollars and this is what's happening for all of the community. And, you know, you have all these people who want to help. But when it comes to the actual help getting to the people and to the families, it's not happening that way. And a lot of our elders are going through it really bad because a lot of the programs are coming through these institutions that the ones that they may trust, that they're putting the money through, but our elders are pen and paper people. It's like, as easy as it is to scan a code for someone else, for that elder to have to go through that and provide that and upload documents that they kept all in paper. They didn't have anything online. We're asking our elders to stand in line and wait for these food. And we're asking our elders to have to go through this whole process, which is overwhelming. I know it's overwhelming and daunting because it's overwhelming and daunting for me. It's hard. Yeah. I'm telling you from me, my standpoint, how hard it is navigating this and finding every program and filling out every paperwork and trying to collect every dollar that's supposed to go back to us. And that's what's really happening, is a lot of the resources that are giving just freely as a community thing. It's not directed directly toward the fire victims.
Towards those that are impacted the most. And I have seen that when I look at different individuals I see coming to those come one, come all grabs, where I'm looking at individuals and I'm like, you know, and I know this may be hard to believe, but you know when someone is not from Altadena. It's just, you know, we know who lives in Altadena, and you can see various individuals coming up to these events and come and get a check, come and get some food, and you see individuals coming from outside the city just because they heard about it. And I know how deep that cuts, even to the point where going to the post office to collect mail for individuals who have been displaced, and you see some of the older residents there and they're waiting in line, and just my heart goes out because I'm thinking, I see you here in line waiting to collect your mail, but how are you collecting anything else? How are you getting any of the foods that are supposed to go out? How are you getting any of the essentials that are necessary? Because you may not have all day to stand in the sun. And the one thing I continuously preach is that more than these one-stop shops where you're handing out gift cards and necessary essentials, the thing that the city needs most of all is advocates, is individuals coming to the city to help people navigate the red tape and the bureaucracy to get people whole. So far from being out in the streets, man on the streets, and seeing what's happening, have you seen a consistent flow of information coming in by way of people actually sitting down with those who are impacted by the wildfires in Altadena?
No. So what's happening is you have all these little sales of information and things that are given as resources. But to me, because I just built my house and I know what it's going through, it's almost like a salesmanship. So you're sitting down, all these people, and you have all these town halls, and I've been to almost every builder town hall and reconstruction, which is great information. So if you're there, be there to rebuild, not to take from the community. Don't be there to try to make money off of the community. I'm not talking about making a fair wage, for your work, but I'm talking about not preying on us. That's what I'm saying. So a lot of that is what's going on also. It's like, yeah, they're collecting all these contracts, they're collecting all these people, but when it comes to putting systems in place, that's what I'm running around trying to do. Like, I do want to sit down and meet with people to have those conversations because I have actual plans, not words or just concerns. I have actual, plans to put the organization together to say, hey, if we move like this, the community will move like this. How do I know? Because I've spoken with the community. I'm talking to my community. So they're literally like, yes, have they talked to you? And I'm like, no. And then for our elders, that shouldn't even be a question. The food should be delivered to them wherever they are,
yes,
basically, because they're not able to take advantage of these things. So there's a lot of things that can be, to me, easily put in place. It's just being organized and putting it together, basically. And I've been the person who wants to put it together. I have plans. I'm ready to implement them. I'm strategic. I'm a coach. That's why. And I literally want to formulate it to make it easy on everyone. And I'm for my city. I'm for Altadena. I'm for everybody who lost. So I'm not discriminating on either side or what's going on. If you're helping and you're giving back to the community, I want to work with you to make sure that happens for everyone, for the whole of the community, so the community can come back whole.
And coming back whole is such a daunting task as it is. A lot of people think because the cameras have gone away that everything is good in Altadena, that we're rebuilding and things are well on their way. And I tell people, no, the trucks have just started removing debris because they just last month, or at the end of last month, finished clearing all the toxic waste. Now they're clearing the debris. You're talking about a plan that right now, as it stands, is not even estimated to be complete until January of 2026 at the earliest. And even though they're moving fast, it is an overwhelming amount of work that needs to be done. When I look at seeing news reports of homes that are already starting to be sold, and when I say homes, I mean just properties, just lots, not actual homes. And I think about the overwhelming nature of being there, as someone who has a home standing, and I look at my neighbors and just the few people I know in the city that have homes standing, how even that is daunting, because you say, do I want to stay in a city that's rebuilding, that's vacant lots and empty plots while this is happening? Do I want to live in the construction zone? I don't know. It's tough. But then when you, who has nowhere to stay outside of the places where you're placed, and you're on this month-to-month status of living where, every month you're looking at, is this going to be the month where I'm in my car, or do I need to leave the city and go stay with relatives elsewhere? Which is very disheartening. From the individuals that you're talking to, and even yourself, what is the hardest part about keeping the fight going?
So the hardest part is displacement. So people don't understand how families are so displaced. See, everyone's thinking that, because of a certain situation, every family has this support, or they'll at least be together. So again, I'm going to start, which I don't normally do, but I'm going to use my example to be, fully transparent. Like, so for me, I have my wife and my 1-year-old daughter. They're staying at her mother's house. So they can be there. I couldn't be there to visit and to do whatever, but to live there, it's a whole different dynamic. So that's not happening. So again, then I have my 84-year-old mother that I have to take care of, that I took care of every day. You forget, we lived next door to, I owned both homes. My mother owned her home. I own my home. I'm in charge of both homes. I walked next door so she could see her grandbaby and I could care for her and all like that. Literally 7 steps. So now I have my 84-year-old mother that I have to go tend with, who was staying with her sister. That didn't work out. So then I have to put her somewhere because she needs to be cared for around the clock and making sure she's okay. So I had to put her in a home that had help temporarily. My mother's never had me not around, or not had, everything from family to the love to what I bring to taking care of my mother. It was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do, was to place her somewhere. Why? Because I had to. Because now I have my son. Yes, he's grown over the age of 18, but he was renting a back house at my mother's home. So where's he going to go? So now he's looking like, okay, rents are crazy out here. I'm displaced. I lost everything also, and I need to have a home also. So now he's went from Long Beach to East LA to wherever they sent him into 100 million different hotels, living all over the place, trying to figure out where he's going to be, asking me, Dad, when are you going to get the place, or, when are we going to get some stability to get back? Why?
Right.
Because there's the price gougers. It's the people out there where rent skyrocketed because everyone's trying to get back to the area. So then people start taking advantage, put $8,000 rent, $7,000 rent. You're talking about people who paid their houses off. You're talking about people who did not have a mortgage. You're talking about people who had a low mortgage who is $1,300 or $1,000 a month, meaning you worked hard and you paid all of this stuff off to have to jump back into a world where they're like, oh, yeah, well, your rent's $4,000. Like, what?
Yeah.
And you still have to pay 2 mortgages. For me, I still have to pay. It's 2 homes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna help my mother. I still have to pay 2 mortgages.
Yes.
And she didn't have proper insurance. So that's back on me to navigate this puzzle, along with I'm still going through the process of trying to put my sister in the ground. So that's even daunting, meaning that the funeral home, because they had their problems because it burnt up, now people got sick, and then they haven't even filed, it's sad to say, they haven't even filed the paperwork for her death certificate to populate. So when I say the insanity and it's these opportunities, because you're my brother and I can just speak real, it's this type of things that this is just the normal life. That's not including going down to the disaster center every day and checking in with FEMA and checking in with this and checking in with and filling out the paperwork and having to bring these forms and give documents that you don't have, that you got to try to recreate and find that don't even exist, that you're fighting for, and you're doing this on a daily. So imagine somebody who's going to work every day, who has to navigate all of these different things. And like I said, the most of our population is over 60 and 70 and 80. And these are loving people who are actually taking care of their parents. Their parents aren't in homes. So these are kids, young adults that are running around navigating this while still going to work, while still doing this, running around, losing their mind, sleep deprived. And this is a repeat nightmare every single day. Over and over and over. So it hasn't even gotten to rebuild. Like, that's what's so funny. They're like, oh, it's rebuild. No, they're just now, like you said, cleaning the lots. It's not even rebuild. Why? Because the city hasn't even gotten it together. I'm showing up to every informational thing, which the information even becomes daunting and too much. Like, yeah, it's a good thing, but it's information without action. It's information without a plan. It's information. Yeah, I know a million people can build me a nice house. Thank you. But can I afford that nice house? So all of it is null and void if I go to 10,000 different town halls, have all these people who say they can build my house, they're going to do it for this, and it's a lie because they don't even know all the regulations that's happening yet. So even when the contractors are trying to give, yeah, it's going to be this, it's going to be that, how when you don't know the price of what you're going to be paying for everything? All these different facts that you're telling old people, disabled people, and people who are running around doing all this for their parents on top of trying to live a life. You don't have a life, and your whole life is based on disaster. Your whole life is a reminder of what you lost. Everything that you're filing every single day is a constant reminder. Dang, I'm sorry. It's a constant reminder of the fact that every single day you're being reminded of everything you don't have and what you lost. Mm-hmm. And it's different because, again, we're proud people who worked hard to get what we have. So all of this standing in line like it's a handout, I have so many of my people love them because they're telling me wholeheartedly, I'm too proud, and I'm telling them it's not about pride. This is yours. You earned all of this. So when you do it, and then they go, thank you. You know, I needed to hear that, because the whole point is like, it's feeling like, well, someone's doing you a favor. This is what you're supposed to do when you come in and you're helping and you're relief. That's why they call it relief. The whole point is you're supposed to be relieving. But if it's too many hoops to jump through, it's not relief, it's struggle. So now you feel like you're struggling again, and you're struggling and you're scared to even talk to your insurance company because you feel like they're trying to keep you from getting your money. It's your money. You paid that policy. They dropped my mom. My mom paid a policy for 70-something years.
Yep.
Then you pick a year or two before to try to drop or get, like, you got 70 years worth of payments.
Yeah.
Then you act funny when it comes to paying out after you've gotten 70. That's what I'm trying to put it in perspective so the listeners can hear. 70 years of payments. Then you turn around in 1 year and go, well, we had to drop you because your hedge was too high and you never notified. And you never notified a person that they're even dropped. Yeah. So it's been when I say crazy, daunting, every day is a struggle, it's hard.
For me, it hits when you talk about how overwhelming and how daunting it is, because I consider myself an intelligent young man, and young, 50, yes. I consider you a very, very intelligent young man. Even still, with all the information regarding things that we don't know from the back of our hand, it is hard to process that. We need 24-hour assistance. Until we get to the point where we are whole, we need to have a hotline where someone can walk people through the process. When I say walk people through, I know it may seem easy if there are people there who are just handing you paperwork saying, hey, here is this paperwork, fill it out in triplicate and bring it back. And you're like, I don't have any of this. I literally lost everything.
Exactly.
Okay, when I tell you I lost everything, I'm telling you I lost everything. I don't have any of this stuff to give you, but you want me to magically fill out this paperwork or come up with this information. And there is some level of, I'll call it fear over being ignorant of the facts. There are some people who I know personally who are not filling out paperwork because they just don't know what to put in the paperwork. So just the fear of being seen as being ignorant is keeping them from even assessing the help that's out there. And this is the toughest thing. I know people, myself included, I'm not going to lie on myself, that have been too proud to go and get help. Go out and get into a line and get some help. And I just say, nah, you know what? There's other people that need that.
More.
There's other people that need it more. There's other people who need it for. So, I'm good. I'm working. I'm out here working and I'm going to be all right. And then the hardest thing is saying and admitting, I'm actually not all right. I'm actually hurting. And hearing you speak out about it, hearing you go into such detail, painful as it is for you to hash this out and relive this, this is what this podcast is about. It is to let everyone know that while the cameras have gone and the news reports have faded away and they're talking about Kendrick Lamar at the Super Bowl or the latest crazy thing that Donald Trump or Elon Musk may have done, Altadena is still, for the most part, smoking. The smoke has not settled yet. The dust is nowhere near being cleared. We have to get to a point of realization that this is a process that will likely take us within the next 2 to 3 years to really see some level of actual change, for us to see houses being rebuilt, for us to see businesses being rebuilt, and to see life to get back to any level of normalcy. And what we're hoping from this podcast, from these conversations, is that the businesses that are being rebuilt and the homes that are being rebuilt are those of Altadena residents, not individuals who are moving into the city because it's prime real estate and they managed to send some sharks in to take advantage of and take away a plot of land from someone who it was just too overwhelming to deal with it. And they took the pennies on the dollar for their property instead of recognizing that this is, in actuality, those of us who live there, this is a multi-million-dollar city. It actually is. And the process of rebuilding must match that. This isn't thousands that we need from the city and from the government. This is millions that we need from the city and the government to help get the necessary funds where they need to go, to help get the necessary assistance to where it needs to go. What do you think needs to happen first? Because I know FEMA's about to shut down their disaster relief center on the 31st, and most every program that's in the city now is ending funds and ending resources and ending help on the 31st. So after that, what needs to happen for those of us who are still remaining, still standing in the city?
That's the part that I have the most fear of, is what's going to happen when all of that is gone. Because those resources do make it a lot easier to try to navigate this road. Mine personally is literally, I have a plan. I can say that. I have a plan that will, I just need the government involved, because I've seen the bureaucracy. I've seen the red tape. I see all the people who don't get along. That I'm not worried about any of that. That's why I'm saying it publicly. I just want to do whatever's best, whoever's willing to help, to get our city back to a place of peace and rebuild is who I want to work with and figure that part out. Because that's the only way it's going to happen, is with the people of Altadena. And when you're just doing it on the side with people who aren't really all about Altadena or have self-interest for themselves, that's the problem. The problem is everybody has this, mode behind them. Like, they have this mode of operation where they're trying to come up. I will blast people. I don't care. I'll say it right now. I know there's churches who've asked for parts of money when it comes to donations that are coming in. Ask, like, well, do we get a cut? Like, what? Like,
do we get a cut?
Do we get a cut? Before, it's almost like, you're breaking it down. Well, can we take part of the money that we're supposed to give to the people? Now, on the flip side of that, there's churches and synagogues who are doing the opposite. No, we don't want any part. We're here to help. Not only are we here to help, here goes some extra money from us. There's been a lot of churches like that. So I'm saying there's the dark side and the light side of all of this. So I like to paint the full picture. That's the difference. No one else gets to see how some of these concerts, the money disappeared. And I'm like, wow.
Yes, it does.
It literally disappeared. Poof, it's gone. I traced it.
Yep.
So when I said I was chasing dollars for my community, because economics is going to be the problem. We can kumbaya and love each other. And I'm a God-fearing person who gives all the glory to God first. I'm going to say that again. I give all the glory to God first. I also understand that faith without works is dead. So when we're out there, we got to put the works in, and the financial part is going to be the biggest part that separates everything. It's always the misnomer, especially for the Black community that resides in Altadena. That is always going to be the issue. It's always going to feel like you don't want something taken from you, because so much has been taken from us. So when I say that in my community, make our Black people whole first. Do you know what all my white and Jewish and Asian and Armenian and every other race that I've said this to, do you know what they say to me, Tawala? They all laugh and say, I completely understand. Please let you go first. Why? Because I know we'll be taken care of if they take care of you. And we all start laughing. We're trying to build back. Our community is willing to do and willing to be a part of it. But it needs to be unified. And the problem is that it's just too sectioned out right now.
Yeah.
It's too much information all over the place. So then people, it's frustrating. When you get so much information that's all over and you get different details at different times, then it's bad. And the city doesn't know. I don't even blame them. I get it. I know the city, the water pressure isn't proper because it wasn't proper when I was getting my house built.
Right.
Before this happened.
Right.
So how are they going to give you the right PSI to be able to push back? They don't know, because they haven't even fixed that problem yet. So I know they're scrambling, trying to put stuff together. So that's what I'm trying to say. But if we do it together, it doesn't have to be like that. That's all I'm saying. Like, hey, bring the city together. Let's put some systems in place so we're not all scattered all over the place trying to figure it out. We can do this together.
As one of many activists in the community, as one of the strongest men I know that are out there putting the work in real time, how can our listeners get in touch with you directly to help you get to the point where you feel you have the assistance that you need? How can individuals contribute time? How can city leaders get in touch with you to help navigate and flush out your plan? Where do our listeners need to get in touch with Zaire Calvin?
You can go to extremeathletics.org. It has all of my information. The phone number that's listed on there is my actual phone number. So, and I'll give my phone number on there. It's 626-399-2034. So that's how I'm so about my community that I just want it to be known that I will do whatever it takes. I will show up anywhere it takes to make sure my community is made back whole. I'm trying to collect every single dollar from my community to make sure it gets back to my community. That's all I'm asking. I'm saying make sure that the funds that people are donating and stuff like that, make sure it's going directly to the people. That's all it is, because it is daunting when people are running around, like I said, and they're saying, well, you know, at the end of this, I already know what the narrative is going to be. Oh, we dropped millions of dollars in food aid, millions and millions and millions of dollars, when my community is going to say, well, you could have dropped that in our bank account. You could have given that to each family and spread it across to make sure we could build our houses back. Because what does that do when we don't have enough money to build our houses back? There's a lot of people who say we have money, we will help. We just want to make sure it gets to the actual people. That's why I've been carrying that narrative to make sure that it's being said. So they're hearing it because now it is coming back. Like, no, make sure these lines are going straight to, because the fraud people that we're talking about know how to click the right boxes. The fraud people who are getting away with FEMA, they know how to click the boxes to get the money out. That's what's crazy about it. It's right. The people who don't have the paperwork, who don't know how to click the boxes, who need the help, don't know how to navigate it, is the ones that the FEMA's putting through the most stress.
Yeah.
Knowing that they don't have it, knowing that it's their address, you've already identified that this person, you know, they lost everything, and you're still trying to make them jump through hoops, and you're making them do all these different things. Those are the different things that are going on. So what I would say, if you're donating, make an easy system. There has been an easy, you know, certain people who've donated. Someone donated to the Flint Ridge Center, and, you know, they're not even a donation center, but meaning to give out money, but they made it an easy process. The whole point is, if you are donating, make sure it gets to the people and to make it an easy process. And for that, that's why I want these systems in place. If you genuinely want to help build back Altadena, that's what I'm talking about. Because I do not want these stories, oh, it's like Maui. Maui isn't built back. You guys don't even have a story to tell that gives a good story of a build back.
Yeah.
Let Altadena be the story. Let Altadena be the unity. Let Altadena set a tone, if it's not for just here, for our whole country. We need so much help in Altadena to get through mentally, because all of this is so daunting. We're dealing with so much depression. People don't understand. Yes, they're like, hey, throw all the mental health. You can throw all the mental health right now, but people are still working. When people ask, oh, you know, are we in shock? Like, no, we're fighters. We never hit shock.
Yeah.
We got hit in the mouth and just start swinging back like if it was a fight. We didn't hit shock mode.
Yeah.
We literally, every single person just went to work. Every neighbor started texting each other. Nobody even walked around in shock. So shock is going to come out later. We haven't even got to shock mode, is what I'm trying to tell.
Every time I drive through the city, my heart breaks all over fresh again. Every time I drive up Fair Oaks and into Loma Alta, I would just have to pull over and cry, because the devastation is too real. When you see neighborhoods that you grew up in burnt to the ground. When you see businesses, when you see the park, when you see everything like that destroyed, when you see neighbors sitting in chairs out in what was their front yard, looking at their property, just hugging and seeing it all gone, it is way too real. We have joined a community like that of Maui, that of Katrina, that of anywhere in the Midwest that has been torn asunder from tornadoes, anywhere in the Southeast and East Coast that has been torn up by hurricanes. We have joined that fraternal order of natural disaster destruction, in that what Edison started, this insane windstorm came through and just blew through Altadena and has brought us here. Again, Zaire, where can individuals reach out to you to help you begin that process of rebuild?
Yes, you can go to extremeathletics.org. That is where. extremeathletics.org.
extremeathletics.org. Zaire, I appreciate you joining us today, allowing yourself to be vulnerable, allowing yourself the time to express the exact sentiment of not just you, but I hear all of Altadena talking through you, and it is all too real. It is visceral. I feel it in my blood, and I hope that everyone listening here to Altadena After the Fire feels it as well. Thank you, sir.
I appreciate you, my brother.
And we appreciate you taking the time to listen to this very special Urban One podcast as we take you through this journey to rebuild Altadena After the Fire.
Thank you for listening to Altadena After the Fire. If you found this episode meaningful, please share it to help spread awareness. Coming up on the next episode.
For some, it's extremely difficult. For some, it's expensive and becoming a financial burden when you kind of add gas out here, bruh, is $6 a gallon, right? So when you start looking at how all of this additional cost, things that they otherwise wouldn't have needed, the old spoon that you use to make the cake with, right? You don't have it anymore. So there's kind of things that you and I, or folks who have our things, and I say them as things, but for them, they're their utilities, their tools, they're things that made their house and their life function, right? It's your personal comfort. So they're having to adjust to that.
To support those affected by the Eaton Fire, consider donating to the Brotherhood Crusade's Wildfire Relief Fund at brotherhoodcrusade.org. Your contributions provide essential resources like food, medicine, and housing assistance to families in need. If you have updated information or a first-hand story to share, we'd love to hear from you. Contact details are in the show notes. Altadena After the Fire is an Urban One podcast. Executive producer and host, Kobe Tyner. Assistant producer, Jahi Whitehead. Director of podcasting, Dre Smith. Special thanks to the Urban One Cares team and our founder, Kathy Hughes. Thank you for tuning in. See you next time.